Hi there, welcome to BSF Recovery Team. Well, it's crunch time. We got to get the axle back into the tow truck and get the tow truck working because we have an epic recovery to go on. It's been waiting for me. It's a mission that, well, let's just say it's big and heavy and it's stuck in the mud beside a creek. It's been there for about a year. So we got to get the truck going so we can go get that before our Memorial Weekend event. So we got the hubs all back together and everything in our last video. I mounted the springs, not tight, they're just snug right now. We're going with the 3-bolt setup that we had before. I don't have time to re-engineer anything on this. We're just going to have to do some maintenance. We're just going to have to remember to check these bolts every once in a while, probably replace them every year or so, and hopefully that'll keep us from breaking them out on the trail. Now, with it snugged up though, and we drilled and tapped this hole, we got to figure out how long a bolt we can put in there without bottoming it out and pulling the threads, because we don't want to do that. So we're going to take our vernier here, we're going to go down through the whole setup, and we're going to measure how deep it is. 4.23. So that's not quite 4 1/4. So this one is a 4 1/2, excuse me, 3 1/2 bolt. Now we're going to check and see how much thread that'll put down into the hole. So we got 2.79 to the hole. So that puts more than a nut's worth of thread, almost 2 nuts if we were to stack 2 nuts on there. So that'll take the maximum torque that the 1/2-inch bolt will take. So that'll work just fine. Alright, like I said, we just snugged these up for now. We'll torque them later after we get it in the truck. The reason is we want to be able to move the springs around a little bit to get them lined up into the spring perches and the shackles lined up. The other thing we're going to do before we get it underneath the truck is we're going to put our little plug, our weather pack plug on the wires here coming from our new Eaton locker. So the plug is pretty simple. You just push the pins up and through the right direction, but you want to make sure that you get the right pin in the right cavity, so when you plug it in it's correct. So what we like to do is we make sure that we have the black one on the black side and the white one, oh, they're both black. I guess doesn't really matter then. They just lock in like that. That's all it takes. Now, to help us roll it underneath the truck and get things lined up, we're going to bolt on a set of wheels here just to use as rollers. Like casters. Hopefully that'll make it a little easier to roll underneath the truck. They're small enough so we can get it underneath the truck. Someday I'll have a hoist and this won't be a problem. Alright, now it looks like it's time to get the Bobcat and set it over in front of the truck. For moving an axle around, but you use what you got.
You want me to grab the side?
Yeah.
Alright.
Go ahead, roll.
And where do I go?
Okay, we got our axle hung back underneath the wrecker. It's time to torque our U-bolt. 150 foot-pounds is what it says. And that includes our 2 bolts, our two big bolts that go into the housing. We want to draw them up evenly. That's 150. Okay. Now the 1/2-inch bolt that we added can get torqued to 75. That's the maximum torque on or the standard torque on a 1/2-inch by 13 threaded bolt. Grade 5, of course. You don't want to be putting that kind of torque on a grade 2. There we go. Now, of course, after we drive the truck around a little bit, we'll want to recheck the torque on those.
Time to take her down. Are you excited?
I'll be excited when we get it wired up and try it out. Alright, well, it's back together and on the ground with an Eaton electric locking differential in the front axle. We still have to wire it up and then we get to test it out. But it's getting awful late tonight, so we're going to do that tomorrow. Okay, time to do the wiring. Now the book says it's pretty simple here. We have a 15 amp circuit breaker that we connect straight to the battery. We have a relay that gets connected to that circuit breaker, and we have ground wires, and we have our plug that goes to the front differential, and then we have our switch harness that has a yellow and red tracer wire that comes from the relay to the switch harness. The blue wire goes to an ignition source with a fuse and another ground wire. And that's all it is. It's pretty simple. So we'll get at that, get it wired up. Well, we got things wired up here. Excuse the mess. You got to remember this used to be an electrical bucket truck. Used to be a diesel. Had a lot of extra stuff under the hood here. We still have a bunch of extra wires. But basically what we did is we wired in the 15 amp circuit breaker right here. Mounted it on the fender. It has a 12 volt power source. And then it powers the relay. The relay is closed by the energizing wire from the switch right here. Comes up to the relay. When the switch is on, closes the relay, and then sends our power through this wire right here, which we have to tidy up yet, down to our differential. Our switch inside the cab is wired to a key-on voltage source. So even if we leave the switch or the locker engaged when we shut the truck off, the switch loses power, opens the relay, so the locker doesn't drain our battery dead, or the magnet in the locker doesn't drain our battery dead when the key is off. We still have to, like I say, tidy this up after we connect it to the front differential, and then we'll show you our switch and see if it works. Well, we got our vent hose for our differential here. I think that's a perfect place to tie off our harness for our locking differential. So we'll follow our vent hose all the way up and tie our harness right off to that. That should keep it nice and secure and out of the way. Here's our switch. We quickly made a little panel to go over where our radio would normally be. We don't have a radio in the tow truck because we aren't doing Friday or Saturday night cruises up and down Main Street and listening to rock and roll or anything like that. So we just quick made a panel to go over where our radio used to be and put our switch in. So let's see. Key on. The switch, it's got a little safety feature on it. You got to push up on the button down here and then push the rocker in. You see how the insignia lights up that our locker is on right now? And then we turn the key off, the light goes out, so there's no power going to the locker. It won't drain our battery dead even if we leave the switch on. And turn it off, we just push it there. Back on again. Our key's on. Our locker's back engaged. So, shall we go try it out, see if it works? First, we try it with the locker off. Now we turn the locker on. We were going a little too slow to pop our rear duals up and over the lip. But you can see that both front tires were digging. Alright, let's try a full climb with the locker on. Oh, I like it. Now a fresh spot with the locker on. Yeah, let's do that again. Well, the locker sure helps it climb, I'll tell you that. But I gotta turn it off the turn. She does not like to turn with the locker on. Thanks for watching, BSF Recovery Team. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. You won't want to miss our next video, an epic recovery mission. Keep wheeling, be safe, maybe we'll see you in the woods.